Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. Alright, so here's my second attempt of me trying to do this. So you're going to watch this video, and then after you get to said point video, at the end, that's where I'll pick up and I will do it from there. But other than that, yeah, enjoy the video and I'll see you guys when this part of the video is over. So yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. Alright. Let's not waste any time and let's hop right in to this what if. And we are back. Oh, I've been wanting to do this. What if Eren Jaeger was Knull, the god of the symbiotes or the primordial god of darkness? Episode 1, in the beginning. Alright, so in order for me to somehow make this story work, the Eldians have a special word that they call, in the Eldian tongue, they call the god of darkness, or a god of darkness, Eren. Now, I know they call him Eren. Well, they call a god of darkness Eren. And Eren, so technically, Knull, in this case, or in this instance, he would be considered, in the Eldian tongue, Eren, for God of Darkness. Yes, I changed the meaning of Eren, so don't actually go fact check me on that, guys, okay? Do not fact check me on the actual meaning of Eren. I'm pretty sure I can just look up the Google and look up and find out what the actual name of Eren means, okay? But other than that, let's just say for the sake of this what if, okay, that Eren means God of Darkness. Or, yeah. So, moving on. But, without further ado, guys, let's hop right in to Knull. Now, if you don't know who Knull is, I highly recommend that you read Venom issue 1. Just read Venom, so that way you can get a better understanding of who Knull is and all that. But without further ado, let's start. Now, we are obviously going to be talking from the perspective of Knull. Now, Knull, in my own personal opinion, has become the most strongest character in all of comics. My own personal opinion. Okay, so he is a primordial god. Now, what does that mean? He is a primordial god. Now, what does that mean? That means he existed before time existed. He existed before time even began. He existed before life and death even existed. So he is not bound to death. He cannot die because he existed before death, before life. He existed before time itself. So therefore, he is not bound to certain things. Now, obviously, alright, so we now begin from Knull. In the beginning, there was nothing. In the beginning, there was just me and my kingdom. The abyss, the darkness, the void. I thrived in my kingdom. Then all of a sudden, there was a flash of light. And hold on, guys, let me get a better picture right here. Hold on. Alright, here we go. And then in comes the Celestials, creating worlds, multiverses, universes, raising my kingdom of the abyss, thinking that there was nothing but My kingdom was not empty. My abyss was not dead, not hollow. The endlessness of my lands was not theirs to raise and reform and remake. No, the void breathes. The abyss has teeth. And now, shadows only grow in the light. And this is when he would actually decapitate the Celestial's head. Now, after decapitating said Celestial's head with the All Black, the Necrosword, which if you don't know about All Black or the Necrosword, I will get more into that a little bit later on in the video. So, the other Celestials seeing that, they obviously realizing that they can't kill Knull because, well, Knull is unkillable. He's what you call a true god. He cannot die. He is a true immortal, a true god. So they banish him into the void along with the Celestial's head, because that's where he was when they banished him to the void, sucking the Celestial's head into the void. But little do they know, that is where Knull thrives. Knull thrives in the void. His powers come from the void itself, the primordial darkness. Hold on. Knull starts inside the head of the Celestial. Knull starts forging the All Black, the sword that you see him holding right there. The Necrosword, or the God Slayer. It goes by many names. Granting this sword. Now, I'm going to say Knull has the ability to bestow all of his creations, which has been shown that he is able to do. And of course, he crafts his symbiotic armor and the symbiotic sword. And of course, he realizes he can forge. Well, he knew he can do this. He just never saw the need for it until the Celestials came into his kingdom of the abyss and of darkness. Now, for all I'm aware of, I think Knull is a multiversal being, meaning he exists within all versions of the multiverse. So I think there's not another version of him. I think he's the only version of him. I think that he's the only one who exists in the entire multiverse. So, there's only one version of him. There's not going to be multiple versions of Knull. He is the only version of Knull, considering he was there before anything else existed. Now, of course, Celestials start creating more planets and forging more worlds, creating new species. And of course, they create the Attack on Titan's version of Earth. Of course, they create Asgard, Thor, all of them. And yes, Thor will be in here, along with Galactus, Thanos, the Infinity Stones, the Infinity Gauntlet, and who knows what else may happen. But, you know, that's to be later on described down the road. Now, and who knows, mutants will exist. Mutants, Inhumans, you name it. I'm thinking about making Mikasa an Inhuman or a mutant. I don't know yet. Depends. And yes, Eldians will still have the ability to Titan shift. And obviously, because since Knull is the god of the symbiotes, he will of course, symbiotes are obviously going to exist. Otherwise, you know. Of course, so he creates the first symbiote sword, which was the first, which they consider to be the first symbiote. And of course, he creates his symbiote armor with the dragon symbol on it. So you see the dragon symbol on his back, and of course obviously leading to his chest. And yes, he can also create symbiote dragons, which apparently symbiote dragons are immune to heat and sound waves. So they said the only way that can hurt a symbiote dragon is to use like some kind of divine lightning. So, which I'm guessing is the power of cosmic. They don't really go into a whole lot about that. So, obviously, he realizes he creates lesser symbiotes to obviously go to different worlds, bond with humans, hosts, and he makes a symbiote army. And of course, he obviously dominates the whole symbiote race, or the Quintar, or whatever you want to call them. I just call them symbiotes. So he dominates them, and with that red spiral in the middle of his, in their face, and his eyes are pitch black with a red spiral. I said, oh, he has like a, in a way, it's kind of like almost like a KK Genkai to put in like think of it as like the Sharingan or the Rinnegan. Think of it something like that. And his hair will be white, his skin will be pale, he will have claws. What he's wearing right here is what you'll see him wear. He can also create proxies, and of course he has full and absolute control. He can create, control, and manipulate primordial darkness, or just darkness, or the void itself. And of course, symbiotes as well. He can dominate them, and his armor can obviously shapeshift to make like they say it resembles more of that of a dragon. His armor will take on the shape of the symbiotic armor will take on the shape of a dragon. Now, this symbiote armor is said to be the strongest armor in the entire multiverse of Marvel universe. And All Black is said to be the strongest weapon in the multiverse. And since he existed before time and death and life, this also means that the Infinity Stones do not work on him. They'll work for him, but they will not work on him or against him, because he exists outside the realm of time and outside the realm of death. He cannot die. The most you can possibly do to him is just, hopefully you can somehow, some way make him retreat. But considering he has took on thousands of pantheons of gods, yes, he has slayed over 1 million gods from each different world, from each different faith or belief. This is when Knull starts his crusade to slay every single god. Now, I was going to explain what are the abilities of All Black, All Black or the Necrosword, however you prefer it, or the God Slayer. Every being that All Black or Necrosword kills, so every victim that it kills, it steals and gains the power and seals it into a sword. And of course, since Knull created it, he has a direct link to All Black, the Necrosword, and it gets transferred over to him. Now, not only that, I say he has his own version of the dark power of Cosmic. He just takes he basically has no limit to his power. He can control, it seems like the power of Cosmic, or his version of the power of Cosmic, some form of dark energy or dark power. I just call it the dark power of Cosmic. Me personally, that's what I call it. I call it the dark power of Cosmic, because it seems like it can do most of the things that the power of Cosmic can do. And if you don't know what the power of Cosmic does, well then I think you have a lot to catch up on Marvel Comics about. But anyway, now, of course, obviously realizing he can create symbiotes, lesser symbiotes, then he has like a ranking system. Lesser symbiotes, demonic symbiotes, and then dragon symbiotes. Dragon symbiotes obviously being the strongest version of symbiotes, of course minus from him, because, you know, he's the god of symbiotes, the god of darkness, or, yeah, the god of primordial darkness, or the primordial god of darkness, the god of symbiotes, king of the abyss, god of the abyss, king of black. You know, he just has a lot of names. He's even been called Cosmic Satan. Yeah, he's even met Satan, and Satan himself is scared of Knull. I think that should probably put some questions, and he has slayed thousands amongst millions of gods, including Celestials. And we know that Celestials, you do not want to mess with Celestials. And the Living Tribunal, he's just not someone you would want to mess with. And it seems like he can also, from the dominated symbiotes that he's dominated, whatever their host abilities are, they can share and transfer it over to Knull, and not only that, Knull can see through all the eyes of each and every symbiote and symbiote dragon. He can see through their eyes, gain their knowledge, read their host's mind, except for symbiote dragons, because they don't really need that. They don't really need a host. Symbiote dragons do. Symbiote dragons do not need a host. And of course, one of the symbiote dragons that is his main dragon and his strongest dragon is Grendel. Now, let's see. The All Black also has his own unique special abilities. Now, remember, like what I said, it appears that Knull can also bestow certain abilities to certain symbiotes, and of course to all of his weapons and armors. Basically all of his creations, he can bestow certain abilities. Like, for instance, All Black can create an army of darkness. Just darkness, not symbiotes, actual demonic looking darkness creatures. Now, I'm explaining the abilities so that way you guys know. Now, since he is a primordial, per se, god of darkness, destruction, you name it. Let's just say this. He makes Eternity and Chaos King basically crap and pee themselves. Yeah, they're too scared to go against him. Even Thor and Odin would be scared of him, because he has basically divine levels of durability, divine levels of regeneration, and not only that, he has divine armor, divine protection, and a divine sword. I mean, yeah, and not only that, he's also put a certain idea into the All Black, or the Necrosword, to whoever, just in case if he ever somehow, if someone ever stole his sword or his weapon, it would basically drive them to insanity and make them want to kill well, just to kill all life in general. That's what he created. And when he dominates symbiotes, they also take on this mindset of Knull, because Knull wants to eradicate all life. Knull says, I was here before time, and I will be here after the end of time. I will be here after the end of life and death. I will still be here, and I will return my kingdom to the way it used to be, back to the darkness, to the abyss, to the void. So, but without further ado, he gets on top of Grendel, and a helmet forms over his head, and grows like dragon-like horns. Now, he does have like razor-sharp teeth, and a dragon-like serpentine tongue. You know how symbiotes have, yeah. And of course, he starts heading to Earth. Oh yeah, and not only that, he doesn't need food, water, sleep, or rest. And he can also survive in the vacuum of space. He doesn't need any type or form of oxygen, air, or anything. So basically, and not only that, he has like divine levels of stamina. So basically, he can keep fighting for days on end without tiring, which will be very bad for his enemies. I mean, which makes sense considering he slayed gods and celestials without hardly breaking even a sweat. Alright, hold on guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so that is where we last left off. And I will... Hold on. I will get back to where we left off. Alright, sorry about that guys, so... Oh my god, excuse me. Okay, so... Yeah, he was, he was on top of Grendel, and he is currently flying towards Earth. You know, completely armored up. He has all black with him, the Necrosword. Well, of course, he's heading towards Earth. Now, of course, at this time, they are... I'm just gonna say... We're at the point where Marley and the Eldians... the walls are already built. We're at the point where Mikasa is a child. Now, obviously, there will be... Now, Grisha and Carla, they are currently trying to have a kid. But they can't have a kid because of, well, there's just certain things that are preventing people, certain things to preventing them from having children. But anyway, switching back to perspective of Knull. Knull is thinking inside of his head that he's thinking that he says, Earth, well, looks like this is going to be an easy planet to conquer. And when you look at there, most of the pantheon of gods stimulate from that area. Let's hope that I can't find some celestials there as well. Now, of course, Grendel, along with Knull and his legion of dragons, and of course, a bunch of dominated symbiotes from different worlds and planets that Knull has conquered, killed, slaughtered, or destroyed, he arrives on Earth And he just so happens to arrive outside of the walls of the Eldians. And of course, he gets off and he sees a giant titan, and he says, well, I've never seen this kind of creature before. Might prove to be fun. And of course, a titan looks at Knull and starts coming at Knull. And Knull, of course, he just takes out All Black, the Necrosword, and he jumps at the titan and cuts its head off. He says, it seems like even these creatures seem to be pathetic. And of course, this is when he noticed that the titan is starting to, because since, I'm going to say he didn't get it like, he didn't cut the head off where the nape is, so the head is starting, the old head is starting to disintegrate while a new head is trying to reform. He says, oh, he says, so this one, seems he possesses high capabilities of regenerative powers. Well then. Now this is when you start seeing a dark aura forming around the sword, a dark energy, and this is when he just swings his sword, causing like a dark energy slash, which completely cuts the entire titan in half, which therefore kills the and stops the titan's regenerative powers. He says, oh, I see. He says, so it looks like if I cut upwards, I can kill it permanently. Oh well. Now this is when he starts sending some of his now I'm gonna say most of the worlds he's been to, most of the inhabitants, they look human. They appear to be human, but they're just not human, but they look human. But they've just been dominated by symbiotes. He says, so. And of course, he sends one of his lesser symbiotes into the walls. And it looks like they look like humans. So, obviously, Knull's looking through the eyes of the dominated symbiote and saying, so, it might be a little bit better if you all blend in with the creatures of this surrounding area. This is when he tells all the dragons, except for Grendel, to go up into outer space and hide on some of the meteor rocks. And Knull, of course, he just keeps Grendel down because Grendel is his personal favorite symbiote dragon. And the one that he's kind of, I guess you could say, formed more of a bond with. Oh, and one more thing, if you guys don't know, he can also take over other symbiotes and use them as proxies. And this is when he gets on top of Grendel, and of course this is when he's about to start roaming. He goes into the wall. Well, actually no, he has Grendel camouflage itself, and he orders all the symbiotes to go inside. Now, symbiotes have a different reaction to titans. The reason why they came at Knull is because Knull kind of gives off a certain scent that kind of resembles Eldians, which are humans, which makes them want to become flesh-eating monsters, eat their flesh. Knull just merely, he sees a traveling man wearing a cloak and a hood over his head. Of course, he kills him, and he puts the cloak over his armor, and then puts the hood over his head, and he puts All Black. I don't know if it has. I'm going to say he puts All Black, the Necrosword, into its. I'm going to say he can open up pocket dimensions, open up portals connecting to the void. And of course he puts it back into the little pocket dimension he's made in the void. And of course he closes the pocket dimension, closes the portal, and he starts at, I want to say almost godlike speed. I'm going to say godlike speed. He runs over, jumps high enough to just jump over the wall, and he does. And of course, he jumps over, and symbiotes, of course, in their human forms, are just, you know, walking around. And Knull is just, you know, Knull says, you know, spread out. And of course, they are spread out, so that way they can cover more ground. But, you know, I'm going to say this right now, this was more like laying down the groundwork for later on episodes. So, without further ado, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Are you guys excited for this series? You know, what other series are you you want to see next? But without further ado, guys, don't forget to share this video with all your friends on your social media platforms. But without further ado, guys, see you guys later, and peace out, my homies.